popular chart type is the pie chart. So you'll see we've highlighted some data. I'm going to go insert, and you'll see here we've got a whole selection of pies. So we're going to choose that one, the 2D pie. When I click on it, you'll see it creates this. There's a couple of things we do here. Depending on how many colors you have, we find it quite difficult to associate a color to a slice. So we don't really find the legend that useful, so we're going to actually switch it off. What is useful here is if you right click on a series, you'll see there's an item called Add Data Labels, and by default it puts the data labels in, and you'll see in this case it's put the values. Now, as with everything in a chart, when I click on it, I could right click and say Format Data Labels. You'll see it's already set up here. Again, you can play with the fill, the border, all these things. But what you'll see is over here is what we're interested in, is the label options. So by default, it's decided to show us value and show leader lines. What we can do, however, is we can say, no, please don't show the value. We would rather you show, and let's try the category name. So you'll see the category name now actually gives the phone number, and we're going to maybe switch off the value. So now you can see what each slice relates to number-wise. You can actually put on multiple items or percentages. You can decide whether you want the leader lines. Now you'll see that line there is a leader line. You can also decide if you've got more than one item, so let's just put it on, is how it gets separated. So is it a comma? So you can see the comma there, or a semicolon or period or a new line. So you'll see it goes underneath each other, or a space. You can also decide where the labels must be. So Excel has decided best fit, some are outside, some are inside. We can say everything must go to the center, inside end, outside end, or best fit. The labels also can be controlled, the custom formats. So if you have numbers here, you can format them to whatever style you want. If you click onto the series of a pie, you'll see that when we format the data series, you have two different options here. So you'll see there's no such thing as a secondary axis with a pie, but you can decide what is the angle of the first slice. So the first slice here is straight. If I go here and I start moving it, you'll see it switches it around. So if you want, you can move that around. You can also decide on a pie explosion. So you'll see I click and you'll see they separate. We don't find that useful. What we'd rather do is if there's something we want to point out, if you have clicked on the series once, if I click again, you'll see it's now only looking at that data point. I can click and hold and drag just that point out. So this way you can emphasize certain slices. So let's go here and maybe pull that one out a bit as well. So it just makes it a little bit easier to differentiate the slices. We can put everything back together. There are also some offshoots of the pie chart that are quite useful. So if we want to change the chart type, we can either click here and there's a change chart type option there, or I can right click and we'll say change chart type. And here are all the chart types again. And just notice there's a 2D, there's a 3D. There's something called a pie of pie and a bar of pie. So we're going to use this one, but you can do the same things with the pie of pie. When I say OK, you'll notice that what it's done is it's created a pie chart, and certain items have been put into an other category, which are then further expanded on over here. So this is useful where you've got things like expense analysis, where there's some major expenses, and then maybe there's lots of expenses that make up the other. So as a single slice, it's a significant portion, but maybe the underlying breakdown is different. Question is, how do you control what belongs here and what belongs here? So what you'll notice is when you click on the data series, when you have one of these, you'll see you can decide how to split the series by. So there's a number of options. The first one is by position. So what it's doing is the last 4 items are sitting here. So you'll see, if you look at some of these numbers, these last 4 items here are the ones here. I could change that and say rather do it by value. When I choose value, I need to specify that all values less than, let's try 10, sorry, let's do 33. So what it's now doing is any value less than 33, so it's probably those two there, are being shown here. If I change that maybe to 40, you'll see another item comes in. So it will self move items depending on their size. You can also choose by percentage value. So let's say anything that's less than 8% of the total must move here. So everything gets moved there. The last one then is something called custom. And when I choose custom, nothing seems to happen. This is because you now have total control, and all you do is, let's say we've decided that this one over here belongs in this plot. I click again on it, so we're at the data point. So you'll see it says format data point. And now it says the series is split by custom. This point belongs to first plot. We're going to say no, it must go to the second plot. When I click it, it gets put in here. This point over here currently belongs to the second plot. I'm going to move it to the first plot. So that way you can set up a pie chart that it can explain a number of things, and you can either get it to auto-populate who belongs in which chart, or you can manually decide that.